After my mother remarried, I gained a younger sister. At school, she fiercely told me to stay away from her. When I was bullied by classmates, she just stood there coldly watching. I always thought she hated me to the core, until I got a girlfriend. Yet in the middle of the night, she knocked on my door. Smiling brightly, she asked me, "Brother, you're in love, aren't you?" The next moment, she forcefully pinned me down, gritting her teeth as she called my name Leafwind. "Haven't you found someone like me enough?" After my mother divorced, she took me with her and remarried an uncle. He had a daughter named Woodcloud Joy, a year younger than me. My mother said that she was an excellent student, also very obedient and sensible. The day we moved into his house, she politely called me brother, smiling as she helped us unpack. My mother smiled too. The family like a picture of a kind mother and dutiful children. A warm, joyful harmony is seen. But when our parents left, everything changed completely. When I, out of curiosity, wanted to touch the trophy in the glass cabinet, Woodcloud Joy pushed me away. "Don't touch my things." She looked at me coldly, completely different from her earlier demeanor. From that moment, I clearly realized she didn't like me, or rather she hated me. I transferred to Woodcloud Joy's school, in the same class as her. As the new student, Woodcloud Joy smiled and promised our parents she'd take care of me. But the moment we stepped through the school gate, she acted like she didn't know me, always keeping her distance. She was the queen bee of the school, with no shortage of boys secretly crushing on her. In their eyes, she was beautiful, a top student, open-minded and gentle. But only I knew what she was really like. One day after school, I forgot my keys. Woodcloud Joy had club activities, so I went to the activity room to find her, only to catch a younger student confessing his love to her. Amid the cheers of the crowd, she smiled and tactfully rejected him, gently returning his love letter. Then she saw me, carrying the smile she hadn't yet retracted, slowly approaching me. I instinctively stepped back. In a corner hidden from the crowd, she finally dropped her mask, looking at me coldly. "What's up? I forgot my keys." She pulled something from her bag. I reached out to take it, but before I could grab it, she let go. A clatter rang out as the keys hit the ground, but she acted like she didn't see. Turning back to the classroom, as I bent to pick them up, I heard someone ask her, "That guy didn't come to confess to you, did he? Did you accept?" She laughed softly. "I don't like him." That night, Woodcloud Joy knocked on my door for the first time at midnight. The girl standing outside, under the moonlight, her beautiful face cold as frost, her voice even colder. "Stay away from me from now on." After my mother remarried, she was very happy, but Uncle Wood understood his daughter well. So when he asked me, "Has Woodcloud Joy been bullying you?" I smiled and shook my head. In that moment, I saw a glint of malice flash in Woodcloud Joy's eyes. I held it in. As long as my mother was happy, it didn't matter how I was treated. But after being mistaken for confessing to Woodcloud Joy, my situation at school got worse and worse. I didn't expect that jealousy among boys could be so malicious. My locker often had things that didn't belong to me. Rumors that I was a thief spread widely. From beginning to end, Woodcloud Joy just stood there coldly watching. I even suspected she had a hand in stirring things up, but I still endured. Until one day my textbooks were scrawled with the words "shameful." After school, I wiped away the marks page by page. Woodcloud Joy, unnoticed until then, stood beside me. In the empty classroom, only the fading sunset left its last hues. "Quite fitting," she said with a suggestive tone. "Just like your mother." A sharp slap broke the silence of the sunset. Her cheek quickly turned red. I kept my hand raised, glaring at Woodcloud Joy. "If put up with you for my mother's sake." "Woodcloud Joy, don't go too far." The shock in her eyes quickly faded, as if she'd stumbled upon something amusing. Her lips curled into a dark smile. She slowly stepped closer and I instinctively backed away but couldn't escape. She stopped by my ear, each word like a whisper from a demon. "You're done for." I quickly understood what Woodcloud Joy meant. At school, she suddenly became unusually friendly with me, entering class with me, waiting for me outside after school. I couldn't avoid her. Along with that came fiercer retaliation. My textbooks were glued shut, my chair covered in ink. When the bell for class rang, I stood there foolishly alone. No one helped me. Woodcloud Joy passed by, smiling gently, asking with hidden meaning, having fun. I glared at her. They all thought I'd keep enduring, until I caught that kid. The same younger student who confessed to Woodcloud Joy before. A kid from another class came into mine to vandalize, and no one stopped him. He held a marker, scribbling on my desk. I grabbed his collar, dragged him outside. He struggled fiercely, but I pulled harder. I pinned him against the 5th floor railing, half his body dangling over. The cold wind howled. Tears streamed down his face. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I was wrong. Please spare me. I'm scared of heights. His cries drew a crowd of students from the floor. I still didn't let go. Finally, the homeroom teacher and others pulled me away. As I left, I saw Woodcloud Joy in the crowd. She frowned, showing an emotion I couldn't read. As she passed by me, I lowered my head and smirked, full of disdain. After that incident, I earned the label of a lunatic. No one dared mess with me anymore. Woodcloud Joy's attitude toward me also changed in a strange way. After math class, the teacher assigned group discussions. Because of the lunatic incident, no one wanted to group with me. Everyone clustered in 3s and 5s, leaving me alone head down reading. Want to join my group? A gentle voice spoke up. I looked up to see the class president, Peace Warm. I didn't know why she noticed me, but I nodded. After school, Peace Warmth casually asked, "Want to walk home together?" I didn't refuse, sure. But at the school gate, someone called out to me. Unexpectedly, it was Woodcloud Joy. I frowned as she slowly approached. She stopped in front of me, smiling familiarly, not waiting for me. Peace Warmth looked at us surprised. Woodcloud Joy, as if just noticing her, said, "We live together. We're neighbors." I cut in. Really? Peace Warmth scratched her head. "Then you to head home together. I'll go first," she said, leaving. Woodcloud Joy suddenly sneered, "Neighbors." I ignored her, turning to walk away. From then on, Woodcloud Joy became even stranger. At school, whenever Peace Warmth talked to me, within minutes Woodcloud Joy would appear. It felt like a shadow trailing me, more repulsive than the bullying before. To shake her off, I deliberately got closer to Peace Warmth. In the process, we gradually became friends. She was kind, gentle, always thinking of others first. Something Woodcloud Joy, that dark demon in my heart, could never compare to. Sunday was Peace Warmth's birthday. She invited me to her party. It happened that our parents and Woodcloud Joy weren't home. I dressed up carefully, ready to head out. The front door opened. Woodcloud Joy came back. Under the cold white light of the living room, she looked at me stunned. "Where are you going?" I said coldly, "None of your business." As we passed each other, Woodcloud Joy suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Let go." I frowned. I asked, "Where you're going?" "None of your business." I didn't finish. She pushed me against the wall. My back hit the light switch. A click and the light went out. The living room plunged into darkness. In the dark, I raised my other hand, but she grabbed it tightly, going to hit me. She chuckled softly, leaning close to my ear, her breath hot. Her finger slowly touched my face. "Brother, if you dare raise a hand, it'll definitely make you pay." I could imagine her face at that moment, full of smugness. "Is that so?" I laughed softly, then grabbed her hand back. I applied a bit of force. Woodcloud Joy let out a soft cry, pushing me away hard. When the light came back on, her ears were bright red, her eyes flashing with a mix of embarrassment and anger, quickly hidden by her hand. She smirked coldly. "What, only know how to bully the weak?" I ignored her, turning to leave. This time Woodcloud Joy didn't stop me, but still followed behind. The early winter road was cold and desolate. Under the dim yellow streetlights, she was like my shadow, not too close, not too far, trailing me. No matter how I tried, I couldn't shake her. At a turn, I quickened my pace and ran. The cold wind whipped past my ears. This time she didn't follow. The gathering was at a KTV lounge. Standing outside the room, I took off my heavy coat, revealing a light-colored shirt. Took a deep breath. and pushed the door open. Maybe peace warmth didn't tell anyone I was coming. The moment I appeared, everyone went silent. Even the person singing clutched the mic, frozen in place. In the dimly lit room, only the background music echoed. Lonely peace warmth was the first to break the tension. She smiled and walked over, her eyes sparkling. "You actually came," I nodded. "Don't just stand there." She pulled me to sit down, then looked up at the singer. "Old John, keep singing." The singing resumed, and the room returned to its lively buzz. The table was littered with beer bottles. Before I arrived, they must have been drinking heavily. The smell of alcohol in the air, mixed with the fresh scent of a young girl, created a strange sensation. Peace Warm's cheeks were slightly flushed. "Happy birthday," I said softly. "Thanks," she smiled, eyes crinkling. I pulled a small box from my pocket, a gift. She looked surprised. "Can I open it?" I nodded. It was a little Lucky Cat smiling with squinted eyes. The moment I saw it, I thought it was just like peace warmth. "Thank you, I love it," she said, smiling. Occasionally curious eyes glanced our way, but peace warmth brushed them off. After transferring schools for so long, this was the first time I felt like I belonged, as if I'd never been isolated or ostracized. After 2 songs, a few boys laughed and approached class president. "More friends are here, we're going to greet them." Peace warmth nodded in agreement. I suddenly had a bad feeling. When Wood Cloud Joy's face appeared, my breath nearly stopped. Her hand had a bandage on it, probably from when I accidentally hurt her earlier. As soon as she entered, boys swarmed around her, smiling brightly, saying something softly, making them chuckle. Then she slowly walked over, stopping in front of me. "Is this seat taken?" She pointed to the empty chair beside me. "No," someone answered for me. Wood Cloud Joy sat down naturally. I straightened up, trying to keep my distance in the narrow space. Peace Warmth didn't notice anything off between us, instead asking innocently, "Right, you're neighbors. Why didn't you come together?" I said coldly, "We're not close." My wrist, resting beside me, was suddenly grabbed tightly. It hurt really. Peace Warmth seemed relieved. "I thought you two were childhood sweethearts." "No," I said, expressionless. The hand squeezed even tighter. At that moment, someone called Peace Warmth. She got up to greet them. Wood Cloud Joy leaned in. Brother. The dim lights, the loud music. No one seemed to notice this corner. She looked at me, her eyes gleaming with familiar mischief. "You dressed up nice today." It was clearly a compliment, but spoken without warmth. "Let go," I suppressed my anger. She acted like nothing was wrong, but gripped harder. Wood Cloud Joy, a tall boy, approached. It was Forrest. Will the class heart throb? She deftly released my wrist. "Have a drink with me." Forrest will grinned cheerfully, his arm casually draped over her shoulder. She squinted. "Sure." Amid the cheers, they downed several drinks. "What's with your hand?" Forrest Will asked. "Hurt, is it okay?" "Need some ointment?" "No need." Her eyes briefly flicked to me. "He's not good enough to hurt me like that." I stood up and left the room. It wasn't until the cold wind hit my face that I snapped back to reality. I forgot my coat, but I didn't want to go back. I stood by the road for a few minutes. Footsteps sounded behind me. Peace Warmth ran up. "It's cold out here. You forgot your coat." She held up my jacket, hesitated. Her face flushed, then tiptoed to drape it over me. I caught the faint scent of fresh grass. After putting it on, she didn't leave, lingering for a moment. She took a deep breath. "Actually, since you transferred, I've noticed you." But then, the class president's lazy voice cut in. Wood Cloud Joy appeared at the door, standing against the light, her expression unclear. "Someone's looking for you." Suddenly, someone else showed up. Peace Warmth looked utterly embarrassed, nearly tripping as she turned to leave. After she left, Wood Cloud Joy stayed there. I didn't want to deal with her, starting to walk away. As we passed, she blocked me with her arm. "What's up?" My voice was icy. She looked at me with a strange gaze, then spoke. "She likes you," not a question, but a statement. My heart jolted. She continued, "You like her too." "None of your business." I pushed her arm away and opened the door to leave. Wood Cloud Joy called out, "Brother." That way of calling me, dark as a venomous snake, never meant anything good. Sure enough, her next words. She smiled, guess if it'll tell your mom. She always knew how to provoke me. Before that, my mother had just said at dinner about the harms of dating too young. You think I'm scared? She looked at me, her eyes glinting with an unreadable smile. She waved the bandage on her hand, suddenly changing the topic. You tore this. Her tone was odd, almost like she was pouting. You have to take responsibility. I brushed her hand off. Are you sick? I turned and left, but I heard her soft laugh behind me. That night back home, our parents were there. Would Cloud Joy put on her mask, playing the warm family act, but in a corner they couldn't see. She whispered what's so great about her. I froze, realizing she was talking about peace warmth. I sneered, irritated. She's 10,000 times better than you. Under the cold white light, she squinted, smirking faintly, full of emotions I couldn't understand. Is that so? Her eyes seemed to see through me. But brother, we're the same kind of people, aren't we? I always thought I hid it well. Even my mother didn't know. How could anyone else know? But with one sentence, Would Cloud Joy pulled me back to a past I didn't want to remember. The bullying I went through, I wasn't unfamiliar with. Back then, I was the indifferent bystander, even stirring things up. Before transferring, a girl named Dream Daisy Sue liked me. She relied on her family's influence, forming cliques at school, resorting to violence for everything. Back then, a girl in my class always isolated me. I told Dream Daisy Sue, and from then on, that girl never had a peaceful day. At first, I felt satisfied, but when she was covered in bruises, her eyes red as she confronted me. Would I only stop if she died? I snapped awake, but before I could stop Dream Daisy Sue, that girl transferred schools. After coming here, every time I was bullied, beyond anger, I felt more regret. I thought this was probably karma. If I kept enduring, maybe the heavens would forgive me. As long as I didn't bring it up, no one would know my past. But would Cloud Joy somehow sniffed out the scent of a kindred spirit? On that first winter night, she lowered her eyes at me, smiling. We're the same kind of people. I didn't argue. My nightmare might have started again. But would Cloud Joy didn't do anything. She continued as before, going to school with me, leaving together, as if we were truly close. Because of our closeness, rumors spread that we were a couple, but I didn't want to be tied to her. Every day after school, I used group discussions as an excuse to stay at school with peace warmth. My mother noticed something off. Why are you coming home so late lately? I answered honestly, discussing schoolwork with a friend. My mother stopped her chores. A boy or a girl? I hesitated. A boy. My mother clearly didn't believe me. If you have questions, why not ask Cloud Joy at home? Uncle Wood said she's always top of the grade. I mumbled and went back to my room. Just as I entered the hallway, I saw Wood Cloud Joy behind the wall. She had clearly overheard my conversation with my mother. Brother, mom's right. If you have questions, just ask me. She looked at me full of teasing. I went straight to my room. But sometimes what you fear comes true. After the monthly exam, my grades plummeted. My mother held the report card. Look at Cloud Joy, top of the grade again. With such a great teacher, why don't you learn from her? I want to, but she might not be willing. Would Cloud Joy appeared from nowhere. Why wouldn't I be willing, brother, to put mom at ease? I had no choice but to pretend to study with Wood Cloud Joy. The study room door closed. I said coldly, I want to study. Don't bother me. She feigned innocence. Didn't you come to me for tutoring? I looked at her warily. Don't look at me like that. She flipped open a book. If you do badly next time, mom will be sad. She always knew how to get under my skin. From my angle, I saw her thick eyelashes, her small delicate nose, and her ears red from the warmth. I suddenly understood why she was so popular. The heavens truly gave her a perfect appearance. Even if her soul was wicked enough to fool everyone, stared enough. Wood Cloud Joy looked up at some point, smiling at me with squinted eyes. Her peach blossom eyes were stunning, black and white, so distinct. When she squinted slightly, even a dog would feel charmed. Since she saw through me, I stopped pretending. I looked at her with disdain. The more I look, the uglier you get. She smiled indifferently. then who do you think is truly beautiful inside and out? Peace warmth. I don't know why she suddenly mentioned peace warmth. Why bring her up? Nothing. Her smile faded. She stood up, probably thinking she can't teach you like that. Even though Peace Warmth is class president, her grades aren't that great. Wood Cloud Joy's words were clearly meant to belittle. So what if your grades are good? Nothing. But good grades give me a chance to be alone with you. The heater was warm, suddenly making me feel flushed. She leaned in close, stopping when our noses were inches apart. Squinting and smiling. I don't mind being ugly, as long as you're handsome enough. Even knowing how wicked she was, her words made my heart race. Get away from me. The words slipped out, and I froze. Hadn't she said those words to me not long ago? After a few tutoring sessions, no matter how much I hated Wood Cloud Joy, I had to admit she was a good teacher. The parts I didn't understand, she always explained clearly. One night, I was doing homework in the study room, falling asleep at some point. When I woke up, a jacket was draped over me. Wood Cloud Joy sat beside me. The occasional sound of flipping pages. The study room was quiet. I stayed still, breathing lightly. The jacket carried the familiar scent of soap and the faint fragrance of a girl. In that moment, my hatred for her seemed to ease a little, but just a little. After a few group discussions, Peace Warmth found me leaf-whined. Are you really busy lately? You don't have time to discuss with me. I didn't know how to answer. He's busy discussing with me. Wood Cloud Joy, appearing out of nowhere. Peace Warmth scratched her head. Makes sense. You live close, probably more convenient. She didn't seem to notice the odd atmosphere. Hesitating. This Saturday, I'm organizing a class camping trip up the mountain to relax after the monthly exam. Are you coming? I didn't really want to go. Wood Cloud Joy glanced at me. He's not. I am. Wood Cloud Joy hesitated. That's great. See you Saturday at the school gate. See you. Peace Warmth laughed. Wood Cloud Joy smirked, looking at me. Didn't expect you to want to go. I didn't back down. There's a lot you don't see. Is that so? I turned to leave. I heard her say behind me, then am going too. So, to people who never joined activities, signed up at the same time, I prepared thoroughly for the camping trip. I'd camped since I was young, so it wasn't unfamiliar. After gathering at the school gate, we all took a bus to the foot of the mountain. Peace Warmth's plan was to hike to a clearing at the summit before sunset to set up camp. Because Wood Cloud Joy joined, the otherwise dull event became lively. The whole forest was stuck to Wood Cloud Joy. I walked ahead, head down, hearing their laughter behind me. Peace Warmth caught up. Let's set up camp together later, okay? I agreed casually. Should we pitch together? I looked up at her. Her face was slightly flushed. Forrest Will's voice came from behind Wood Cloud Joy. Let's be neighbors later, okay? An indescribable feeling surged in my chest. Sure, I answered before Wood Cloud Joy could. I didn't know what she was thinking until I realized my protective charm was missing. She still didn't speak. Let me help you look. Peace Warmth volunteered. The charm was a birthday gift from my mother. I always carried it with me. I shook my head. You have to lead the group. I'll find it myself. I'll be back soon. She hesitated. Can you manage alone? I'll go with him. Amid surprised looks, Wood Cloud Joy stepped toward me. I didn't want her help at all. No need. That's fine. Peace Warmth answered for me. Perfect. You to go together. Well, wait for you at the summit. So, on the way back, I had an extra companion. I guess the charm might fallen where we got off the bus, since I heard a clink when I stepped off. I didn't think much of it then, but now it was probably the charm. I walked quickly. Wood Cloud Joy followed, not too close, not too far. Not like we were together at all. I'd camped on this mountain before, knowing a shortcut trail down, so I deliberately took it, hoping to lose Wood Cloud Joy, but she kept following. I sped up. After a few turns, I lost sight of her. I was secretly relieved. Then my foot slipped a void beneath me. I tumbled down, rolling a few times before stopping. I got up filthy, realizing I'd fallen into a pit. It was deep. I couldn't climb out alone. Talk about bad luck. Even drinking cold water gets you stuck. With no other choice, I shouted, Wood Cloud Joy, help me. No one answered. Is anyone there? Footsteps sounded above. The next moment, that infuriating face appeared at the pit's edge. Go get help. She didn't move. Instead, squatting by the edge, beg me. Would Cloud Joy coughed, standing up, and actually walked away. When the air grew quiet, I started to feel a bit scared, wondering if I'd starve here. Then there was movement above again. Would Cloud Joy came back. Want me to save you? Call me sister first. I was stunned. What kind of fetish is this? No way. She laughed. Fine, I'm leaving. But as she stood, maybe unsteady or the ground too slippery, she slid down the same path I fell, landing beside me. I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. Serves you right. Her face darkened for 2 seconds. Then she looked up at me. That funny. Very funny. I thought she'd get mad, but she lowered her head, hesitated, then laughed too. It is funny. Each of us took a corner, looking at each other silent. After a bit, how do we get out? Wait for someone. This place is remote. Clearly no one would come soon. Then we might die here. Would Cloud Joy suddenly laughed. Isn't that nice? She tilted her head at me, like dying together for love. Even knowing she was joking, facing those peach blossom eyes, I couldn't help feeling angry and embarrassed. Who wants to die for love with you? Relax, I wouldn't let you die. I frowned. With that slick tongue, how many naive boys have you fooled? Not many. She smiled. You're the first. I instinctively avoided her gaze. Lie on the ground. I'll lift you up. I didn't expect her to suggest this. You're so skinny. Can you lift me? No problem. I can handle you stepping on me. Or you step on me to climb up first. You're lighter. If I step on you, I still might not climb out. Weighing the pros and cons, I decided to follow her plan. A girl's strength isn't much, but when lifting me, she still got me up successfully. She must have used all her strength. When I climbed out, Would Cloud Joy collapsed on the ground. She lay on her back looking up. You're not leaving me here, are you? I frowned. I'm not like you. But she suddenly smiled. I'll wait for you. Sometimes you have to believe in fate. Like how the weather forecast said clear skies. But on my way to get help, it started raining. My mind kept flashing to Would Cloud Joy's last image, and her words, you're not leaving me here, are you? I wouldn't. Luckily, on the way, I met classmates heading back. After explaining, they came with me to rescue Would Cloud Joy. The rain grew heavier, mud and rocks sliding down the path. A bad feeling surged in me. When we returned to the pit, I froze. Half the pit had collapsed. I rushed forward like the wind, looking down. Would Cloud Joy lay there, soaked, half her body buried in mud. Would Cloud Joy, I shouted. She stirred slightly, opening her eyes. The rain was heavy, but I could read her lips. It hurts, she said. Since knowing her, she always carried an air of superiority, never this pitiful. Because of the collapse, the pit now had a slope. I jumped down to save her. Only then did I notice her head was covered in blood. Blood mixed with rainwater ran down her chin. I didn't abandon you, but I came too late. I'm sorry. When the ambulance arrived, I jumped in without hesitation. The paramedic looked at me surprised. I'm her brother. After examination, Would Cloud Joy's worst injury was to her head, likely from falling rocks during the collapse, causing her to pass out. That night our parents went to buy food. I sat by her hospital bed, staring blankly at Would Cloud Joy fast asleep. Because of the stitches, a patch of her hair was shaved, now bandaged, looking both pitiful and funny. But I couldn't laugh. I gently touched her fingertips. They were ice cold. I'm sorry, I whispered. In the quiet hospital room, only the beeping of the monitor answered me. To monitor her, Would Cloud Joy stayed in the hospital a few days. Every day after school, I rushed to the hospital. After the head injury, Would Cloud Joy seemed gentler. When I arrived, she didn't say anything, like she didn't see me. I didn't expect her to say anything either. Just watching over her for Uncle Wood, sitting in the hospital room quietly doing homework. On the third day when I arrived, a strange woman was in the room. I stood at the door, hearing her speak gently to Would Cloud Joy. But the next second, Would Cloud Joy yanked out her fork, smashing a glass cup on the floor. I rushed in, pushing the door open. At the same time, Uncle Wood entered. He pulled the woman out, but she started screaming completely unlike her earlier gentleness. Only then did I see her face clearly, distorted with madness, but resembling Wood Cloud Joy by 70%. After Uncle Wood took her away, I noticed Wood Cloud Joy's hand, blood dripping from the back down her fingers. I pulled her to lie back on the bed. "Are you okay?" She lay down silently. I called the nurse to treat her wound and restart the floor. Throughout, she was unusually quiet, not resisting at all. Strangely so. "Anywhere else hurt?" I asked. She stared at the ceiling, silent. There were still glass shards on the floor. I turned to clean them up. When she suddenly spoke, "It's fine. This wound doesn't hurt as much as the one she gave me." My heart jolted. I turned to look at her. The shaved patch revealed a long, thin scar. Did she do it on purpose? My voice trembled slightly. "Yeah." Wood Cloud Joy lowered her eyes. I didn't ask, but she continued. "She was drunk, hit me with a bottle." I didn't know what to say or how to comfort her. A child raised under domestic violence from her mother. Outside the window, rain started falling. The weather lately was always strange. I stood up, intending to find Uncle Wood. She suddenly grabbed my hand. I flinched. "Don't go." For the first time, I saw this expression on Wood Cloud Joy's face. Eyes red, fragile like a child. I froze. A soft corner in my heart felt a strange sensation. I held her hand back, softly saying, "I won't go." Her grip instantly loosened. She turned her face inward. The patter of rain made the hospital room even quieter. "Leaf Wine," she softly called me. Her voice choked. "I'm sorry." After Wood Cloud Joy was discharged, she seemed changed. In places our parents couldn't see, her attitude toward me softened. She stopped mockingly calling me brother, instead calling me Leaf Wine like a peer. I wasn't used to it. At first I thought she'd reformed, but I soon realized that wasn't it. She had an abnormal possessiveness over me, always by my side, blocking me from other girls, who whenever my gaze wandered, she'd find ways to draw my attention, making my eyes see only her. This wasn't normal. I started feeling uneasy. This unease peaked when Wood Cloud Joy received an Outstanding Student Award. Coming down from the stage, she shoved the certificate into my hands. Amid the curious looks of classmates, I clearly felt she was claiming ownership in an almost blatant childish way. The last time I jumped into the ambulance, Peace Warmth explained to everyone we were neighbors, so no one knew our real relationship. The unease gradually consumed me. I felt I had to do something. I found Peace Warmth. "Can you help me with something?" She looked at me puzzled. "Can you pretend to be my girlfriend?" Peace Warmth's face flushed, but under my earnest gaze, she didn't ask questions and agreed. With my deliberate display, rumors about me and Wood Cloud Joy vanished. Instead, talk spread about my romance with Peace Warmth. How did those two end up together? Peace Warmth has liked Leaf Wine for a while, didn't you know? What about Wood Cloud Joy? Didn't she like him too? Probably just rumors. In class, a group of girls gossiped, glancing my way. During this time, I deliberately avoided Wood Cloud Joy, doing everything with Peace Warmth. And Wood Cloud Joy was also unusual, no longer following me everywhere. Instead, she arrived at school just in time, sometimes even late. Because of her good grades, teachers usually overlooked it. But today she ran into the homeroom teacher. "How long has class started, don't you know? Think you're great because you're top of the grade." The teacher blocked her at the classroom door. "Think you're so amazing. Can you stay first next time?" On a normal day, Wood Cloud Joy would smiled and sweetened her way out. But today she didn't. She stood there silently, like she was enduring something. But lately she seemed to carry a new strength. Or rather, she was tired of wearing her mask, her face expressionless. The teacher was taken aback, finally dragging her for a scolding, angrily saying talented but immoral, making her stand outside until the end of class. Wood Cloud Joy entered the classroom, bringing a chill with her. I couldn't help but glance back at her, as if sensing something. She looked up, her eyes icy, just like our first meeting, when she told me not to touch her things. I quickly looked away. All day I felt restless, starting to doubt if what I was doing was right. But in the end I stood by my choice. Even if Would Cloud Joy told my mother, I'd only get a scolding at worst. But if my relationship with Would Cloud Joy started to change, it'd be an irredeemable disaster. I couldn't let that happen. The relationship between me and Peace Warmth, Would Cloud Joy didn't mention to my mother. Everything stayed the same, except Would Cloud Joy became cold again. I was on edge. But after a few days, I relaxed, reaffirming my approach. Would Cloud Joy keeping her distance was exactly what I'd wanted, wasn't it? That night my mother prepared a lavish dinner, urging Would Cloud Joy to eat more to nourish herself. If it were before, she'd have smiled brightly and complied. But this time she only mumbled, barely eating before leaving the table. Is Cloud Joy in a bad mood lately? My mother asked. Probably school pressure, I replied. Uncle Wood answered. The incident with her biological mother at the hospital. Both Uncle Wood and I tacitly avoided mentioning. My mother looked at me. Leaf Wine, seems you're not trying hard enough. I nodded vaguely. Mom's about to take her driving test. Try hard with me, okay? That night lying in bed, I thought about Would Cloud Joy's change. She must noticed I was close with Peace Warm. How much she saw I wasn't sure, but her current coldness was the outcome I wanted. That was enough. As I was thinking, I heard a knock on the door. Late at night, the sound was unusually clear. I didn't move. The knock came again. Afraid of waking our parents, I quickly got up to open the door. As expected, it was Would Cloud Joy outside. She looked down at me. Under the moonlight, her squinted smile was strange and distant, oddly unfamiliar. I instinctively stepped back. I heard her laugh and ask, brother, you're in love, aren't you? I opened my mouth, about to speak, when she suddenly stepped forward, abruptly pushing me against the wall. Leaf Wand, haven't you found someone like me enough? My back went cold, a chill spreading through me. But in front of me was her burning warmth. She gritted her teeth, her voice close. Under the cold moonlight, her eyes bloodshot. I struggled, but afraid of making noise and waking our parents. She didn't let go, instead slowly raising her head, her breath grazing my neck. I had no way to retreat. A strange sense of humiliation hit me like a wave. As her nose nearly touched me, I turned my face away, my voice trembling. Would Cloud Joy, I'm your brother. She froze. I don't know how long passed. She let me go, stepping back. Her footsteps echoed. After a while, she gave a bitter laugh, turned and left. The room returned to silence. I slowly slid to the floor. If I truly hated Would Cloud Joy, I could have pushed her away, kept my distance like before. But why was I so conflicted? Getting Peace Warmth to pretend to be my girlfriend. Why, when she got close, did I emphasize I'm your brother? In the darkness, only my pounding heartbeat answered. After 2 weeks of dating Peace Warmth, I initiated the breakup. It's not fair to you. I sincerely apologized. I did something very selfish. I'm sorry. Peace Warmth quickly waved it off. Don't apologize. Hesitating, she scratched her head shyly. Actually, I had some selfish motives too. Not just anyone could have asked me to do this. She was very upfront. I could only lower my head and play dumb. But no one else knew we'd broken up. Forrest Will knew Would Cloud Joy and I were neighbors. And since I was taken, eliminating me as a rival, he often struck up conversations with me. At first, just classroom chats. Then he invited me to hang out. Through our interactions, I found that despite his good looks, he was surprisingly naive. His likes and dislikes clear, open and unhidden. This time he invited me out. The reason was Try No Words was coming too. I've always found that guy annoying. Hey, scared of you. You have to come to knock his arrogance down a peg. Try No Words was the younger student who bullied me. I plan to go home after school. Just come with me for a bit. It won't take long. Befriending the boys who liked Would Cloud Joy was like proving we were just siblings, nothing more. Just 5 minutes would do. I don't know who spread the word, but at the gathering, a bunch of high schoolers tried to act like adults drinking. When I entered the room, the thick smell of cigarette smoke hit me. I instinctively frowned. Try No Words hadn't arrived yet. Forrest Will whispered in my ear, hang on a bit longer, okay? I didn't want to stay a second more. But since I promised I couldn't leave early, it was just showing my face no loss to me. Seeing the guy who bullied me scared was a small pleasure. Thinking this, I stayed a bit longer. Soon the door was pushed open. I heard Try No Word's voice. I looked up, and my whole body froze. A chill ran from my feet up, spreading through me amid the thick smoke. Beside Try No Words was a person, someone I never wanted to see again in my life. Dream daisies through the fragments I tried to forget, pieced together into a complete memory. I was once the one behind others' bullying, a past I could never atone for. In my life, Dream Daisy Sue saw me too. Our eyes met. I heard Try No Word's voice. Introducing, this is my cousin. Dream Daisy Sue. She looked at me, smirking. Nice to meet you. I never understood before where Try No Words learned to bully. Now knowing Dream Daisy Sue was his cousin, I instantly got it. Blood ties run deep. Through hearsay. This time, he probably heard Forrest Will brought me, so he brought Dream Daisy Sue, a notorious queen bee, for courage. But she likely didn't expect that I knew Dream Daisy Sue. Back then when we parted, we had a huge fight. I questioned why she always used violence. She sneered I was helping you vent. And now you're blaming me. Do you have to make it such a big deal? Now you think it's too much. Her eyes icy leaf wind were actually the same. Both guilty, both destined for hell. Those words haunted me as nightmares for a long time. I kept remembering, forgetting, then remembering again, until Try No Words bullied me, becoming the victim. Beyond anger, I was secretly more relieved. This time I wouldn't go to hell. In the room, I couldn't do as Forrest Will wanted, overpowering. Try No Words instead. Dream Daisy Sue's presence made me leave the gathering early. Outside, I practically ran, but I was still stopped by Dream Daisy Sue, riding a motorcycle with her gang. Amid the roaring engines, I had to stop. What do you want? I was on high alert. She took off her helmet, nodding toward an alley. Let's talk there. I didn't move before transferring. She once dragged me into a dark alley, having her gang hold me down. Luckily, I escaped that time. She reached to touch my shoulder. I quickly dodged. She froze, still so stubborn. After transferring, I stepped back, scanning for an escape route. She suddenly stepped forward, blocking my view. You escaped last time. Try running now. I only felt disgust. Get lost. She laughed like it was a joke. What did you say? I said get lost. You want to die. With that, she signaled her gang to move in. But the next second, a familiar figure rushed forward. Woodcloud Joy stood in front of me. Tried touching him. Dream Daisy Sue froze for a few seconds. Who are you? Looking to die. With that, she swung a slap. I thought this is bad. But Woodcloud Joy deftly stepped back, easily dodging and countering with a fierce slap. It hit Dream Daisy Sue's cheek, her nose instantly bleeding. While she was in pain, Woodcloud Joy grabbed her hair, pulling her down. She doubled over in pain. Woodcloud Joy pinned her to the ground. I stood beside, stunned. Woodcloud Joy pulled a knife from somewhere, holding it to her throat, glaring at the gang. Get lost, or I'll stab her. Dream Daisy Sue, infamous for bullying, had never been humiliated like this. But now, pinned under Woodcloud Joy, she couldn't move. Go, hurry, the gang scattered. Finally, Woodcloud Joy let Dream Daisy Sue go. She started cursing Leafwine. Now you just hide behind girls. Be a man and face me yourself. Before she finished, Woodcloud Joy slapped her again. This time her nosebleed didn't stop. I was wrong. I'm really sorry, sister. Blood's getting in my mouth. Please let me go. I was a bit worried for Woodcloud Joy. She snorted, tossing Dream Daisy Sue aside. This time she finally shut up, kneeling alone, wiping her nosebleed. Woodcloud Joy looked at me, turned and left. I quickly followed. Why were you here? Coincidence? I didn't believe it. Maybe after school when I left with Forrest Will. She followed. I kept walking behind her. You're really good at fighting. Learned self-defense as a kid. She answered vaguely. Really? What else can you do? Tell me a bit. No way, so stingy. Tell me, you're so annoying. That night, the road home felt longer, but walking behind that girl Watching the streetlights stretch our shadows, my heart felt an unprecedented peace. After that night, Wood Cloud Joy and I formed a tacit understanding. Every day after school, no matter who left first, would meet on the way home. This unspoken companionship became our relationship. For a long time after, she gradually became more open. Once again, she was the girl, shining brightly on stage receiving awards, though I knew it was her mask. Strangely, I felt she was born for it. She helped me study, remembered my birthday, took me out to have fun, bought me strange little things my mother always said. Didn't expect you two to get along so well. I thought our relationship had truly improved, maybe like real siblings. If time kept flowing like this, we might have been like other siblings, applying to our dream universities together, graduating together, growing up together. But disasters always strike unexpectedly. My mother, on her first wedding anniversary, got the driver's license she'd always wanted. To surprise Uncle Wood, she planned to drive for their anniversary trip, secretly practicing alone. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I was in class listening to a dry physics lecture. The homeroom teacher suddenly appeared, calling me out. A strong sense of dread surged up. Leaf whined, "I need to tell you something. You have to stay calm." The teacher looked at me with sad, helpless eyes. "Your mother was in a car accident. She's in the hospital now." My head buzzed like it exploded. Later, I learned the teacher had softened the truth. My mother was caught under a truck. The car severely crushed. She died on the spot. But at the time, I thought she was being treated, believing she'd be fine. So when I rushed to the hospital, facing my mother's cold body, I fainted several times. I had nothing left. Now even my dearest mother was gone. I don't remember how that time passed. Only the sun rising and setting. Rising and setting, I stayed awake through long nights, occasionally dozing off. My dreams were filled with my mother, asking if I was studying hard, if I was living well. I nodded frantically, begging her to come back. But waking up besides tear-soaked pillows, nothing remained. I stopped going out, let alone to school. My biological father came at this time, wanting to take me to another city to live. Uncle Wood asked my opinion. I didn't look at Wood Cloud Joy, nodding in agreement. Though my father had a new family, compared to my stepfather, living with him seemed more legitimate. The day I left, Wood Cloud Joy gave me a box. I opened it. It was the charm my mother gave me, but I clearly remembered losing it. How was it here? I looked at Wood Cloud Joy, puzzled. I made a new one from memory, not sure if it's like yours. I looked at the charm, suddenly laughing as tears streamed down. "It's the same," I said, "exactly the same." My father handled my transfer paperwork. I went home to pack. That day it poured. Not long after returning, I realized the charm Wood Cloud Joy gave me was gone too. Looking at my empty wrist, a sense of fated powerlessness gripped me. I rushed out like the wind, running from the house. But with such heavy rain, I didn't know where to look. I wandered along the long street, just walking. The rain slowed. Clouds covered the sky, memories flooding back. I suddenly snapped awake. I couldn't find it. Just like my mother was gone, never to return. I turned back, but on the way home, soaked, I was pulled into a long alley. Looking up, I faced Dream Daisy's sus twisted face. Her gang threw me hard to the ground. "Finally caught you, Leaf whined. Let's see where you run today." With that, she reached forward. The group rushed at me, punching and kicking. "Sister, isn't this a bit much?" Only then did I notice. Try no words behind her. "Didn't he pin you against the railing?" "Forgot already." "I haven't forgotten, but sister, doing this, am helping you vent." "Still talking nonsense." Try no words, quickly shut up. No one stopped her. Dream Daisy Sue got more vicious. I was held down by the group, every struggle earning a hard punch. Soon my face was swollen. "God, his nose is bleeding." Try no words shouted. "Shut up, he's not dead yet, maybe he couldn't take it." Try no words ran off. I looked at the gray-white sky. Suddenly speaking, Dream Daisy Sue. "My mother's gone." She froze. "What's that got to do with me?" I lowered my eyes, staring at her. "My mother won't forgive you." The quiet rain amplified every fear. Dream Daisy Sue cursed bad luck. Stood up and kicked me hard in the groin. I curled up in pain, watching her walk away. The last tense nerve finally relaxed. I don't know how I got home. Blood dried on my face, covered in bruises and mud. I wrapped my torn jacket tightly, limping home when the door closed. The sound of rain finally faded. I don't know how long passed. The door opened again. Wood Cloud Joy stood at the door stunned. Looking at me, she stepped closer. I saw her eyes gradually fill with madness. Was it Dream Daisy Sue? Her voice trembled. The next sentence was almost a scream. Was it her? Wood Cloud Joy looked at me, eyes red. She suddenly threw her backpack down, rushed to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and ran out the door. I hurriedly followed, hugging her tightly from behind. "I'm fine, I'm okay," I tried to comfort her. I heard the girl's suppressed sobs. Clang, the knife fell to the ground. She turned, hugging me tightly. My chin rested on her head, my nose filled with the comforting scent of soap. Tears kept flowing, soaking her hair. I'm sorry, she kept apologizing. I looked at her, placed a finger on her lips, shaking my head. She looked at me dazed, like a lost child. I pulled my hand back, gently, reverently kissing her beautiful lips. I think I'll always remember. In that gloomy, rainy day, I gave my first kiss to a girl crying and apologizing to me, no matter how our story began. In the end, I chose to forgive. Our meeting wasn't beautiful. We once hated each other, but stumbling to this moment, I couldn't deny the secret deep in my heart. I think I liked her. Life isn't like a novel, where realizing your feelings means being with the one you love. After packing my things, my father took me away. I left the city, leaving behind the people and things I loved and hated. At first, I tried contacting Wood Cloud Joy, but messages and emails sank like stones in the sea. Later, by chance, I reached Forrest Will. He said Wood Cloud Joy had transferred schools. No one knew where. I couldn't reach her either. Even her ardent admirers didn't know. It seemed she deliberately cut contact with everyone. Gradually, I gave up, only occasionally waking startled at midnight. I'd think of the girl who protected me at all costs. I wonder if she still remembers our parting kiss. If she does, why hasn't she contacted me all these years? Living with my father, I wasn't very happy. My stepmother had a child, and all these years I felt like an outsider. Luckily, after the college entrance exam, I went to another city to study, staying there to build my career. Family stopped mattering so much. I returned to this city 8 years later. When Forrest Will got married, he insisted I be a groomsman. Oddly enough, all these years we stayed in touch. People once irrelevant became friends in a strange way. I agreed to his request. When the plane landed, I unexpectedly felt attached to this place. I went straight to the hotel Forrest Will arranged. He was marrying a wealthy girl. Every guest was well cared for. That night, he held a welcome party for some old classmates. To our surprise, Try No Words showed up. Forrest Will quietly explained no choice. We're colleagues now. Not inviting him would be awkward. What a strange, terrible fate. Years later, Try No Words saw me. His first reaction still fear. I nodded at him, smirking faintly in a hidden corner. Those unaware might think I was the bully. Adults are good at hiding. No one mentioned the past. After some drinks, someone brought up Wood Cloud Joy. Does anyone know where she went? Forrest Will asked. Everyone shook their heads. Only Try No Words' expression changed. Forrest Will asked me, Leaf One, didn't Peace Warmth say you and Wood Cloud Joy were neighbors? By the way, why didn't Peace Warmth come with you? Caught off guard. Because now Peace Warmth and I were lovers. 2 years ago, we met by chance. She pursued me fiercely. Right age, right person. I agreed and we dated for over a year. When the dopamine faded, our relationship started showing cracks. These issues exploded when her mother got involved. She was always dissatisfied with me, and in this Peace Warmth's family, always sided with her mother. As a woman, she wasn't wrong, but as a partner, she wasn't enough. Before coming here, we fought over this. She frowned at me, leaf-whined. I only have one heart. But there are many people I need to love. Can you stop being so childish? My heart instantly went cold. I suddenly recalled years ago, in the KTV room filled with alcohol. I wore a light-colored shirt, watching her shyly talk to me. That girl with the faint scent of grass was gone, replaced by an adult, weighing every bit of affection. In that moment, I felt my wrist being gripped tightly. Back then, someone sat beside me, smiling. Brother, you look great today. She'd save me in danger, protect me from harm, lose her reason when I was hurt. All these years, I thought I'd forgotten, but now I realized I could never forget would cloud joy. I spoke as if to her, as if to myself. If you've ever been loved 100, you'd understand. This kind of love can never accept less. She hesitated, asking back who loved you 100. I lowered my head silent. That person I didn't know where she was. Didn't know if she loved someone else now. I only knew in my memories. She was forever that youthful figure, forever sincere, forever passionate. Finally, I looked at Peace Warm and said goodbye, facing Forrest Will's question. I just smiled. She's very busy. Is that so? Then everyone laughed and moved on. No one brought it up again. Would cloud joy's name seemed forgotten by everyone. Like years ago, preparing a wedding is complicated. Forrest Will was busy beyond measure. His car broke down, no time to fix it. He tossed me the keys. Helped me find a repair shop. No choice, I helped him. I found a highly rated garage. Drove the car there. After briefly explaining the issue, they started inspecting. I sat at the entrance board scrolling my phone. A woman passed by in front of me. I suddenly had a strong feeling, instinctively looking up. This industry rarely had women, but she wore a mechanic's uniform, a cap and mask, checking the car's engine. She wasn't talking to a colleague nearby. I stood up, rushing forward. She looked up, though only her eyes showed. Despite the years, I recognized her instantly. Would cloud joy? My voice trembled. She hesitated, her eyes like she didn't know me, frowning slightly. Who are you? I pulled off her mask. Leaf whined. She kept checking the engine. She replied casually. I tried to steady my trembling body. I didn't understand why she pretended not to know me. And back in high school, she was always top of the grade. Even if she transferred, she'd at least get into a top school. Why was she a mechanic here? I softly asked, why are you here? She answered quickly, why not? I froze. Can we talk? I wanted to know what she'd been through these years. Where she went. Why no one knew. Why she didn't contact me. I'm working. She shut me down with one sentence. Utterly cold. I suppressed the bitterness in my eyes, quietly stepping back to the entrance. Fine. I'll wait until you're off work. By late afternoon, would cloud joy finally finished. Thinking I'd left, she walked out, standing under a tree lighting a cigarette. The flame flickered. She looked up, saw me, and froze. I walked over, took a cigarette from her pack, held it out. Lend me a light. She didn't move, frowning at me. Smoking's not good. I smiled, put the cigarette in my mouth, and leaned to light it. The flame came from her fingertips, a slightly provocative, smooth move. Her frown deepened. I exhaled a puff of smoke, casually asking, where have you been all these years? She stubbed out her cigarette, chin slightly raised, full of pride. Her lips curled into a half smile. In that moment, I saw the old would cloud joy again. She leaned past me, leaving a cold sentence, nothing to tell. For several days, I kept showing up at the garage. I wanted to know what would cloud joy had gone through. But besides saying your car's fixed, she didn't speak to me. That day I waited at the entrance until evening again. Would cloud joy changed out of her uniform, wearing a hoodie, not even glancing at me, walking straight ahead. I hurriedly followed. My soul felt lost, like time had reversed. Our roles had switched. Before, she always followed me, and I tried to shake her off. Now I followed her, quickly losing her. I stood on the bustling street, suddenly thinking of something. I ran frantically to a familiar place, the house my mother and I lived in for a year. When I arrived, would cloud joy was just opening the door. After reuniting, she finally showed a second expression besides coldness. I slipped inside before her. She didn't move, just looked at me. After a long pause, she smirked. Believe it or not, I'll call the police. I stepped back. This is my house too. I suddenly slammed the door shut, pinning her against the wall behind. My eyes red, breathing slightly rapid. After 8 years, I finally saw her face clearly again. She was taller, her beautiful face more mature. The comforting soap scent gone, replaced by a faint cigarette smell. Her warmth reminded me we were both adults now. Can I kiss you? I asked. She froze. Before she could react, I kissed her forcefully. Years ago on that rainy day, I kissed her here for the first time. Back then she was stiff, unmoving. This time, she returned my kiss, passionate and deep. The air grew thin, our bodies touching ambiguously. I held her waist, guiding her to the sofa. She sat on my lap. I lowered my head, my fingers threading through her hair, touching that scar, like pressing a pause button. We slowly stopped, foreheads touching, breaths heavy. Would Cloud Joy, where have you been all these years? She still didn't tell me. That night she took me back to the hotel, leaving one sentence: don't look for me anymore. I didn't listen, of course. After that I sought her out more often, successfully befriending her colleagues. They didn't know our history, thinking I fell for her at first sight, competing to give advice. Later I asked about Would Cloud Joy's past. She's been here almost a year. Introduced by a friend of the boss. Very smart, picks up anything fast. Sometimes even our master mechanic asks her for help. I acted surprised, but my heart wasn't. In high school she was always top of the grade. How could she not be smart? But they didn't know what she did before either. She never mentioned it. During this time, I showed up in front of Would Cloud Joy daily. Though she acted indifferent, I saw her trying. When I looked away, she'd sneak glances at me. When I got close to her colleagues, she quietly sent them away, giving them more work. Actually, all these years, she hadn't changed a bit. Her actions left traces, except she stayed silent about her past. That day, Forrest will drag the groomsmen to try on suits. I didn't look for Would Cloud Joy, trying on this and that. Forrest will suddenly point it to the groom's suit. You'd look great in this. Try it on. No need, try it. Don't you want to see how I'd look in a suit? I looked at the suit, silent. The salesperson said, try it, you can if you like it. I was pushed into the fitting room. The suit fit perfectly. After changing, Forrest will drag me to get my hair done. Then my phone rang. An unknown number. I answered, puzzled. Hello. Leaf wine. Surprisingly, it was. Try, no words. What's up? The other side went silent. I frowned. Nothing. I'm hanging up. Actually, that year, Would Cloud Joy, I held my breath. Try, no words. Continued. She found my cousin, then brutally stabbed her a few times. After that, Would Cloud Joy was sentenced for a few years. It's not something to brag about, so no one mentioned it. Not even me. But I felt responsible, so I decided to tell you. Hearing this, my mind went blank. I didn't even hear the calls around me. Who are you talking to? Looking so dazed. He looked at me curiously. The phone screen was off. Seeing no reaction, he pulled me up. Come on. There's a surprise. He dragged me to the photo area. Everyone stood aside, smiling at me. The next second, the door opened. Peace Warmth, in a wedding dress, holding a bouquet, walked slowly toward me. She stopped in front of me. Leaf whined. I wasn't good enough before. Now I'll love you with all my heart. If you're too busy to propose, I'll come marry you myself. Amid everyone's cheers, I snapped back. Amid the fresh flowers, the beautiful wedding dress, and a girl coming to love me. What a perfect proposal. But my mind was filled with someone else. Images flashed. From 8 years ago to 8 years later. Finally stopping at that rainy night in the hospital room. The girl holding my hand, softly saying, don't go. Amid the cheers, I ran. Peace Warmth could never love me fully. 8 years ago, she stayed silent when I was bullied. 8 years later, she always sided with her mother. In the groom's suit, I ran through the crowd, jumping into a taxi. The driver was surprised young man, running from a wedding. I squinted and smiled. I'm not running. I'm going to marry the one I love. When would Cloud Joy saw me? She'd just lit a cigarette. She looked at me, her eyes blank for a second. The cigarette burned long between her fingers. You look good, she said like it took all her strength. Then asked, getting married, yeah. Go back, she smiled, pretending to joke casually. No need to show off for me. I'm scared, she stopped abruptly, lowering her head to take a drag. I slowly stepped closer. What are you scared of? She looked up at me, her eyes like a sky of shattered stars. Her voice low. I'm scared I'll steal the bride. I laughed, tears streaming down with Cloud Joy. In getting married. I looked down at her, my voice trembling. Will you marry me? She seemed not to understand, eyes widening slightly. The next second I hugged her tightly, but her voice choked. I know everything. It's okay, you still have me. After a moment she hugged me tightly. You're such an idiot. Doing something so unworthy for someone like that. She held me tight. It's worth it. I slowly knelt on one knee, looking up at her with Cloud Joy. Will you marry me? Neither would Cloud Joy nor I are perfect. In our damp, gloomy youth, our fates intertwine. After years apart, two imperfect people broke through prejudice and bias to come together. On the day we got engaged, we returned to my hometown to visit my mother. She rests at South Hill. That day the sky was clear, the scenery like a painting. Would Cloud Joy for me made another identical charm. Standing before my mother's grave she smiled. Mom, this time I won't lose it. Rest assured I'll definitely be happy. On the gravestone my mother's black and white photo smiled gently, as if responding to me. Though the first half of our lives was chaotic, I believe with each other in the future. We won't be alone. The end.